Hi everyone, this is the video for the week 8 part 1 of the payroll project. Start this project as soon as you can because it is time consuming, especially if you don't get balances to equal each other or something just looks funny. You're definitely going to need to go back over things or send them to me so I can look at them and then get them back to you, but that's going to take some planning in advance. The part we're going to complete is a short version of the payroll project, which begins on page 716. But you have to read everything before that because it's going to give you your tax information, the tax percentages. It's going to give you a new employee that you're going to have to add into the payroll register eventually. But one of the first things is you're going to have to make sure he's added to the employee's earnings records. So you're definitely going to have to make sure of that. You're going to be told before our project begins that 2 employees are getting raises. So you need to look at the previous information so you can make sure that you give those employees the correct wages. Because I believe it's like $80, I believe, on the per week, or is a per month raise, and so you're going to have to recalculate how much their wages actually are. So you need to make sure that you read the information. So we're actually starting. My textbook's off just because it's a different version. Exact same textbook, it's just a different program. So it's going to show us different things. So hopefully it loads. One thing that's going to help you with the project is that you look at previous entries. For example, the entry we have to complete on December 3rd, where we're paying the state income tax, scroll back through and see what was previously done. So I would definitely look at November entries. So when we're paying state, so employees, state income tax payable, your first entry on December 3rd is going to be that, but then for the amount, you're going to look in the general ledger. You're going to scroll down till you find the SIT payable, SUTA, FIT, SIT. You want to get, if you look at the previous entries, you're going to need to get the account to a 0 balance on December 3rd. So if we look at December 3rd, I'm not too worried about the post reference. So if you look at the balance at $427.53, that's the amount that you're going to use on December 3rd. And then you would enter the 427. And then you're going to enter it into the ledger. Easy entry to do. The next ones are a little bit trickier because we're going to end up paying employees their wages. And so in the textbook, we are given, here we go, we are given the records that tells us the working hours. Now, this part always throws students. The students are given a paid holiday. The employees are given a paid holiday for Thanksgiving. So salary employees, they're going to be paid their 40 hours. They're not given any extra time. The only way employees are given extra time is if they work over 40 hours in 1 week. So in this case, if you look at the hours, Bono and Ryan are the only ones that are going to get overtime. Make sure that when you do the payroll register, look at the previous entries. That is going to tell you and show you exactly what needs to be done. So we're going to be all the way down here. So the easiest thing to do, copy. So copy the allowances, the marital status, and then for Woods, you're going to have to look in your textbook. She is mentioned on, she is mentioned on the November 17th entry, so you're going to have to go back and look and figured that information out. And you'll need to make sure that there is an employee's earnings record for her, which it looks like there has been. So you're going to have to make sure you double check that. So on the payroll register, you're going to list every single employee unless they have been terminated. So just make sure that you have everything correct. Here is the one terminated employee, is Ruth Williams, so we're not going to have to worry about her at all. So just make sure that you have the correct information. You're going to enter the hours worked. So for the paid holiday, you're just going to enter 8 hours, or you can leave that day blank, but they are getting paid for that. You're going to enter the total number of hours worked. These are regular hours only, not overtime. And then you're going to have only the hourly employees. You're going to list their amount per hour. Then you're going to list the gross pay that you calculated. And then you're going to start calculating, so then you have your total earnings. So again, on this payday, Bono and Ryan, they will have overtime. So the overtime hours go in these 3 rows, listed right after the regular earnings. And then you're going to do the calculations for taxes. Again, do not let the system do that for you. Do not forget to enter in the simple contributions. And remember, when you're doing your federal income tax calculations, even though we're using the wage bracket method, make sure you reduce the taxable earnings based on the simple contribution, because those are not taxable. And so then you're just going to follow the pattern that has preset before you. Employees' earnings record. Again, look at what's been previously completed for you. So for Bono, you're going to list his regular hours, his hourly rate, the amount you calculated, his overtime hours, the rate that you calculated his overtime at, then how much his earnings was for overtime, cumulative total, and then the tax amounts. And 2 employees have union dues, so make sure you do include those. If you don't know which ones those are, look at the other deductions on bi-weekly, which will be the union. And then for the journal, what we're supposed to do on the 4th is we need to prepare the payroll. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the previous entries. The best entry to look at is the November 20th one. So I would just recommend that you copy, paste, and then you can't list. You can't miss any, but you do got to be careful because we're not collecting insurance this paycheck. So that is one you're not going to want to include. So you can either not copy it or you can just delete that row. So you should have all of these amounts. And then we're told that we need to pay the payroll taxes. Again, look at at November 20th. That's going to give you the information you need. And then so go back up and make sure, and then don't forget the payroll cash. You do not have to list this transaction first, even though it's listed previously. You can if you want, or you can list it wherever you need to. So those are the ones that you have to complete for December 4th. And then you're going to have December 9th as well, which is when you're paying the union dues. So again, scroll up. Why recreate the wheel? Scroll up and find out where it shows that you're paying the union dues. So you're going to look for one that's just union dues by itself. So union due payable cash. So scroll down, copy it in, put the date, and then enter the amount. On union dues, it's down below. On union dues, what's going to happen is you're going to have an entry for December 4th. And then on December 9th, you're going to pay the previous balance. So you're going to pay the balance at the end of December. at the end of November, you're going to pay for the balance. So in this case, it's going to be $32. And then how much you're going to pay, it depends on what the book says, but again, you can go by the previous amounts. And then the spreadsheet has it set, so Excel does most of the math for you, but double check it, because especially on the payroll register, a lot of students miss points because the cells include formulas, and if you have been guilty of using formulas in your cells in the past, you're going to know that the rounding is not going to be accurate when it comes to doing the addition and subtraction needed to solve the answers correctly. So make sure that you do the addition and subtraction yourselves just to verify Excel. And then the last thing you're going to have to do on the register is enter in the information. FUTA and SUTA is listed in the textbook on which employees actually have that paid for. So not everyone is going to have that paid, but there will be a couple on each paycheck that will have that. And then the final step that you're going to have to do is make sure you transfer everything to the employee's earning record. You can either do the employee's earning record first, or you can do the payroll register first. Either way, you should come up with the same information. If you need me to look at this at all, let me know, because this can be time consuming, and if you get one amount wrong, it can be extremely frustrating and sometimes infuriating. So please remember, I'm here to help.